So before you jump into whatever number you chose, I want you to just take a moment to align with this next chapter of yourself. If you have anything to write on or the notes on your screen, like just start listing off like what they've overcome, what they're feeling, how they're dealing with whatever challenges, how are they confident, what are they manifesting, who is this next chapter of you, what is the thing in your heart, your deepest desires that you're working towards manifesting, because we're getting wisdom and guidance and advice from that aspect of you who has fully blossomed into this next chapter of yourself. And if you're not even really clear on that, like it's your being clear on that is going to penetrate the energy of this reading. So get clear on that first. Also, hi, I'm Cara Elizabeth. I'm the author, illustrator, and creator of Animal Apothecary card deck for manifesting, for healing. We're obviously going to be using that card deck, and I guess you're in the midst of a transformation since that's what's popped up. And my new body tech deck that is still in the works, still in the creation. Also, if you are watching this before July 6th, 2024, you're definitely going to want to check out my Self-Worth Explosion workshop that is live, virtual, in person, all the things. The virtual is on repeat forever, replay, so you can actually get it if you're watching after this. But this is about aligning with self-worth in a different way than whatever you've been taught, because is it really working? If not, then you're definitely going to want to check out this workshop. And it is aligning with the idea that you're everything and expanding this version of yourself, because that limited version of you who you're trying to give self-worth is not even all that you are. And it's almost futile by trying to pump up a version of yourself that is capped off at a limitation of who they are. So instead, why don't we just expand who we are? And in that, not only do you discover this worthiness, but then you become like crazy magnetic and start manifesting awesome, abundant things. Okay, so let's get into this. So if you are numero uno, stick around. If you're number two, just scroll at the bottom and it'll show you where number two starts. Okay, my number ones. Did you write it down? Did you like think about it or just speak it out loud? Just like pause for a second and just like, who is this next chapter of you? And then come back once you really just take a moment to like penetrate your energy into this reading. Okay, so we're gonna be asking first, like, our current blossoming, we're in the midst of blossoming into this thing. So what is this transformation that we are in the middle of want to share with us? Any love, any wisdom, any guidance. If you can imagining like maybe a flower or tree or some kind of a plant in the middle of its blossoming, we just need that symbol in the middle of your blossoming. And this is just sticking out, so I feel like we're just gonna go with that one. And then any wisdom and guidance from our bodies on this current blossoming. Now I want to connect to the message from the part of us, from the thing that you're trying to manifest. Think that that has its own consciousness. If there's a project or a love or a level of success, like that thing has its own consciousness. And I want you to ask that thing any love and wisdom and guidance it wants to share with you. And what your body wants to share with that in relation to that project, success, embodiment that you are working on manifesting. Now, there's probably a part of you who's a bit resistant, worried, scared, like feels it's too good to be true. And on the flip side of that is trust, right? So we're connecting to the part of you who is just having maybe some resistance or a hard time, or just worry about creating this next level of yourself. And then last, the aspect of you who has fully blossomed, manifested this thing, overcome the thing, like just see this opening flower, this dynamic, beautiful, expansive opening flower that popped out. Now with our bodies, if you can open yourself like a flower. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so the version of you who is currently blossoming is like you're in the midst of a quantum jump, yet another quantum jump. So there's a couple things that you're being asked to do in the middle of this quantum jump, or to know. And if you're not familiar with what a quantum jump is, it just means like you're leveling up and learning. You're in the midst of aligning with the version of you that you're trying to become. You're learning how to vibrate your tuning fork. So say your tuning fork is learning, it's readjusting its frequency, its vibration, its sound to align with the version of you who is blossomed into this thing. So in the middle of this blossoming, right? You're in the middle of this jump towards aligning fully with this thing, that everything is like a choice right now. How are you going to show up? Like, and this says choose confidence, which I love, but I think this really is about choice. Like when we're leveling up, when we're manifesting, it's like, yeah, we want everything to feel good all the time. We want to choose the higher thought. We want to be like high vibe, whatever. But sometimes things happen and we get triggered and the thing happens. And it's like, you have this moment of how you are going to go forward. Everything is going wrong. You're in the tunnel of like, no, it's not working, or this block is happening. All of a sudden, there's this moment though, where you can wake up and be like, I have a choice how I am going to react in this moment. And this to me is the version of you who's blossomed or in the midst of blossoming. So this version is not radiating. This is like old. This is like, I'm not at the frequency. I'm not like aligned with the tuning fork of the version of me who's like fully blossomed. But the version of you in the midst of blossoming is always choosing to stand tall, always choosing to like know that it's going to happen, even though they don't freaking know how it's working out at all. Like at all. Like folks, we don't even know. In fact, the thing that you're working towards manifesting and that feels like your heart's deepest desire could just be a symbol to get you to align with this next thing that could be much better than what your limited consciousness is hoping for, or your limited like egoic consciousness. And that's fine. Like we need those symbols. We need those things to get us excited, to get us in alignment. But often it's different, but it's okay, because it's just like we needed to get like amped up for that. So how are you choosing to show up? So the advice from the aspect of you who's currently blossoming, which I freaking like, of course we got this. Like, look how they're currently blossoming this thing. So it's like constantly choosing that, like, no matter how many times you get like choked and hijacked by the feeling that feels like the low, dense, kind of gross vibration, is like a remembering to like come back. And like sometimes the only thing you can do is start with just your posture. That's like, because when we're realigning, like, again, come back to the tuning fork. You can't tell the tuning fork, now immediately sound like that. It has to like shape shift and go into another vibration. So it's like, it's showing that like there's this kind of posture that's going to happen in your body when you're in this down place. So pick your freaking head up and like remember, like it is all happening. Maybe focus on your breath, something small to just make that little readjustment, okay? The readjustment is always like, it's for most people not like, I instantly feel better. It's like a work it up to that thing. And then you currently blossoming is also letting you know that whatever you are so scared of is not like, it's not gonna happen. It's only the fear in your head. But it's almost like this fear really is a hijacker. It totally distorts your whole reality of everything. Like, I may have shared this story before, but I remember it just was so funny, the thing in like, I had this thing and I asked for like a good amount of money that I thought that I was like worth, and the email back was like, I can't afford you. And like, you know, I read that and like da 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 da. And then they reach out again and they're like, so are you down? And I'm like, I reread the email. This is like weeks later. And it was like, we can't afford you, but since it's you, we'll do it. I am telling you, this is how crazy being hijacked in a certain headspace can completely distort reality. Like, it will make you read things wrong. It will make you understand everything wrong. So it's like your current state of blossoming and developing is asking you to like get that there's some like things that are might be popping up that if it makes you feel not good enough, if it makes you feel worried, if it makes you feel scared, if it feels constricting in your body, like really start paying attention to, how do I feel? Does this make me feel open or does it shut me down? Like, your thoughts, you have to start understanding that they are just a compass letting you know like you're either like in alignment or you're not. So your feelings, your emotions are just showing you like, if it is making you feel constricted and worried and shut down and closed off, this is a good indicator actually that you're not aligning with your truth. And because your truth is, you're your own demigod. You can create whatever reality you want. Your truth is, you are an aspect of the creation of life, and you're beyond worthy, and that you are this gift to life, that you have this gift that you're meant to share. Like, so if it makes you feel less than, it ain't freaking true. If it makes you feel scared, like, but you last for eternity. You could die right now and you'll still be existing because you're infinite, you're eternal, you're a part of all of it. So that is what the aspect of you who is in the midst of currently blossoming wants you to know. The message from the project or the thing you're trying to manifest, like, it could be a physical thing, it could be an actual physical thing, it could be a circumstance that you're working towards manifesting, it could be like a love relationship. Just think that that thing has its own frequency and it has its own consciousness, and this is what it wants to share with you. So we have illuminate the world and evolve into your complexity. Evolve into your complexity, when we see octopus there's a lot going on here. So, and this, the understanding for me of this card has also evolved. Actually, I think that's what's cool about my continuation is of working with these cards, is that most of what you read in the guidebook, it's already beyond that now. It's like that, but it's evolved, because like, how could it just stay that one thing? Like, clients tell me what they think it means, and I'm like, mind blown. Like, of course it means that too. Like, people, like, my understandings of how my growth and development happen affect the cards and what they mean. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So what does this mean? Because that's all about the evolvement is what I'm trying to explain. But like, this evolution of this card, evolve into your complexity, is about having to go through so many things to expand in so many different directions, right? The multiple tentacles and the multiple, like, look at how expanded in every direction, right? Back, below, above, you know, all the ways that this expansion was actually created from really difficult things, and like, a lot of times fear, a lot of times just challenges. And this expansion is what is allowing you, oh, and rejection. I want to throw in there, rejection is a big expander. It is one of the biggest expanders. It is such an awesome expander. Like, rejection is a huge way to level up. So if any of you have dealt with any level of rejection, like, get ready to level the freak up, because that's what it's for. But, and as you've most likely heard, rejection is protection. It's also like, just, there was something not fully aligned with this next level of yourself. But in that rejection is here to expand you even more. So in this expansion, it's been preparing you to hold the weight of this next level of success. It is through its complexities, through its difficulties, through these tests, is what has opened your aura even wider, even bigger, even more expansively, to hold the weight of this money, to hold the weight of this love, to hold the weight of your family, to hold the weight of your success, to hold the weight of your every single thing that you are pursuing, your art, your like, I don't even know, like, whatever you're doing, it is allowing you to juggle all of these things in an easier way than it, like, you didn't have the capacity to before. So the message from that project, that thing, that circumstance, that thing you're trying to manifest, is letting you know that, like, you've been in this kind of evolution of yourself that has been preparing you to hold the weight of the thing, because it's a big thing. It's a big freaking thing. You know what I mean? And in this, look at that expansion. Look at, like, almost like bigger than the world energy, and shining and being a part of, like, illumination and shining whatever your thing is. It's like, I kind of look at this like, see, it's like there's so much going on, and there's so much learning, and there's so much to then, does that make sense? So I'll leave that at that. That is what's happening for your, this message from the thing you're trying to create. Like, it's done. Like, come on. That's what's gonna expand into that. Like, it's like you're big you are. It's like you're bigger than the freaking world. You can hold the weight of all these things that you've been trying to create and manifest. Now, the part of you who is worried and not fully trusting, look what you got. Lighten up. Like, come on. This card comes from the aspect of you who is uninterested in how freaking ridiculously serious, like the seriousness is like, all right, like you're so worried, you're so just like caught in that thing, and there's nothing to even like, there's nothing in the dark to even be scared of, even though you might not like see whatever you're trying to like figure out, because what is actually, you know, I think it's interesting that the lighten up is actually showing that once she decides to turn on the light and lighten up, she starts colliding and connecting with this like rainbow color that then is also a part of this rainbow abundance card. So why you need to lighten up is because what's happening is you're aligning with the abundance of who you are. Like this card has like a lot of different kind of meanings. It talks about that there's some kind of, you know, you're being asked to like be a bit more go with the flow, because everything is working out for you, and like you swimming upstream is just like your silly way of feeling like you're in control because you're scared about something. But like if you just allowed and just like stood in the knowing, like it's all working out, there is something bigger than you that's clearing the path. Because bowhead whale, there's a lead bowhead whale who's always clearing the ice for the pack of bowhead whales behind him. When they're migrating in the Arctic Sea and all the ice are there, he's, you know, clears the way for the other ones. He like to use for air through their blowhole. Try to say blowhole like 10 times fast, like blowhole, 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 blowhole. So there's something that is like completely here of service for your path. And in this, it's you aligning with your abundance. And like, yes, I'm going to like plug in why you should also look below and sign up for my self-worth explosion workshop, because what I realized about our self-worth, it's aligning with the fact that you're everything. It's aligning with the fact that you're abundance. And it is coming out of identifying as whatever version you thought you were, because it's like you're not. You're expanding into this like epic freaking version of yourself. But info below, and the promo code for friends and fam discount is explosion. So the other thing about this card is that once it's like, there's a lot of things involved. Like you're being asked to lighten up. Like, again, this is the playful part of you coming forward. Like, I'm so done. It's just like too serious. Like, I mean, unless you're a surgeon doing a heart transplant, like most of us, it is not life or death. But this abundance situation speaks of, in this kind of asking you to just have this trust that there's something beyond and a part of you that is clearing the path, that is like, that doesn't, it's like you don't have to try so freaking hard. You don't have to hustle. You don't need to know the next answer. You don't even need to know what to do, like about the situation that you're not sure. Like you will make the right answer. You will figure it out. But there's something that with this like allowance and trust, you start to vibrate at that frequency of the thing you're trying to align with. And it just brings in so much abundance of things that also vibrate at that same frequency. But it's like, it's because you're aligned with your truth. It's not just like, oh, material objects, abundance, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, you're aligned with the fact that you're freaking everything. And then everything is just kind of like, you know, you get to align with all that abundance of everything around you because you realize that you're the freaking abundance. Like, it's not a thing outside of you. It's you. You're everything. Again, workshop. Like, you gotta go. It will be lit. It will be nuts in the coolest way. Like, it's gonna be awesome. All right, so last but not least, the aspect of you who has fully transformed and blossomed into this next version of yourself, which is like, it just shows, like, look at, there's this, with this card, focus on the big picture. We see this is about coming out of the ego, coming out of the limited idea and understanding, being the visionary, being the leader of your own life, being your own freaking authority, understanding that you're this light bringer here to bring light, that B, you have this gift you're meant to serve humanity with, and that is the crown of victory. Like, focusing on the big picture, and you're emerging. There is some kind of like transformation you're in the midst of, and the emergence card is the coming from the aspect of you who is fully in their freaking confidence. The ruby is the king of all gemstones. In Sanskrit, that its meaning is the king of all gemstones. So there's this like kind of self-authority that you're the aspect of yourself who has fully blossomed, right? So there's this king, self-authority, emerging out of some like, I'm small and limited, I'm in the hellfire, which is fine, because like, you have to know the thing to become the opposite of the thing. Like, we live in this duality. Like, all your hell is so awesome because it just allots you the ability to experience paradise. Like, okay, so this and then we see this emergence even coming out of this like human limited understanding of yourself that is like into leader. It's giving self leader. I don't care if you don't consider yourself a leader. Actually, I do, because in the context of leading other people, that's what I don't care about. What I do care about is that you're your own leader, right? So there's some like deep confidence coming out and like, again, this is the information coming from the aspect of you who has fully manifested and blossomed this thing. Is there's this, oh my God, this confidence that you're going to align with. I think because it's almost like, you know, it's a cool, what happens with confidence, and I'll just be real on my journey, is that the confidence is a built thing. It's like, often you got to do it scared. Often you got to do it not knowing what you're doing. And that's cool. That's the way you start, right? That's the way you start. But then you start getting a hang of it. And like, you just keep kind of, once you start seeing like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Oh my God, I am actually creating this thing. You get like, there's a nice little ego boost there. And I'm not talking about this confidence, like whatever, who cares? Fine. It's your ego. I don't care. And maybe it's not your ego, but maybe it's both. Maybe it's just like, I freaking did it. That is what the aspect of, excuse me, I'm spitting. The aspect of you who has fully blossomed is like, just really standing and honoring, like, I freaking did it. And if I can do that, holy crap, what are, like, the world is an oyster, my friend. Like, it is here, it is your playground. And just one last card to sum it all up. Wait, there's one card over here that's flipped down, and I don't know where it's surrender. So that's the card then. I don't even think I don't know when that happened. So check this out. Her technology, sees how she has this like motherboard tech in her body, and then we have the motherboard tech coming from life, and then it like, when she surrenders, it kind of goes back to this flow thing. When she surrenders to like letting life help her and trusting life, by the way, this is a child's pose, but I've kind of noticed when I do this and when I like to surrender and have these moments where I'm surrendering to life, I actually flip my hands up in reception mode, but do whatever you want. That just like, she just surrenders, like, okay, I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do. And then it gets way freaking better than what she had previously hoped for. So we're leaving it at that, like, surrender. It's all freaking working out. I love you. Sign up for my workshop. Info below. All right. On to numero dos. My number twos. Number one was good. And let's save the best for last though. Okay. So we're going to be connecting to what you are currently blossoming into. And like I said in the very beginning, take a minute, go on your phones, write some notes. Who is this aspect? Say it out loud. Just say something out loud. Just like speak it, get the energy in here. Like, who is this next version of you? What have they manifested? What have they healed? What have they overcome? Like, what kind of relationships are they in? Like, who is it? Because that's who we're speaking to. And if you're unclear about that, then like, what? So pause and then come back, I guess. Or you better come back. Okay, so you're aligned, you're connected with this next aspect of who you're blossoming into. And I want to symbolically connect with that by just imagining something blossoming open. Just see it as a flower, as whatever plant, as the sun horizoning. Just open, just see something opening and blossoming. Using that symbol to get love and wisdom from the aspect of you who is in the midst of their blossoming. And then we're going to connect to our bodies. If you can open your arms physically, just in this midst of blossoming, pulling a card. Okay. The message from this thing, this project, this circumstance that you're working on creating or manifesting. So some of you have like a very clear vision of that, like it's a project, it's something you're trying to, some of you it's a feeling you want to feel about yourself. Some of you it's love, a love relationship. Some of you it's figuring out your purpose. Whatever the thing is, a message from that thing you're working on creating and manifesting. That thing has its own energy and frequency. So just asking that, think of that thing. Okay. Our body, oh, there's two. Okay. So the part of you who's worried, who feels not so trusting in life, who's just worried it's not gonna happen. And guess what? That worry is there because it's two sides of the same exact freaking coin. So it actually, this one is that. So that part wants to turn into the exact opposite, which is knowing everything is going to work out, which is trusting. And now think of this fully open blossomed, the version of you. So go back to that flower, that sun rising or whatever the thing is, that opening, the version of you who is fully blossomed into this next level of yourself, this next chapter of you, and just in their openness. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, girl. All right, all right. Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay. So, currently blossoming. What did I say about number 2s? Victory, my friend. It ends in victory for you. And also, we got become the prayer. So what's going on here? So, let's just start with become the prayer. Become the prayer comes from the aspect of the part of you, I'm having trouble speaking, it's the aspect of you, it's the prayer in your heart that you answered. Okay, right? Like, life is here to, like, I almost said grant our prayers, but like, you're granting your prayers. Grant? So you answer your prayers by embodying and becoming the prayer answered. So I wonder if I should change this card to become the prayer answered. I don't know. Leave your thoughts below, because right now it says become the prayer. But you're your answer to your prayer. You're the one. And it's like you aligning with the version of yourself who is, and again, this is the part of you who is currently in the midst of the blossoming, is like telling you, like, you become the answer. Like, you are your answer to your prayer. You just align with that vibration. Easier freaking said than done. I get it. Like, I get it. And just to, like, I did this in the last one. I'm just going to plug in my self-worth freaking workshop, explosion workshop. Like, this is what this is all about. It's like we are using completely, like, more expansive kind of understanding of ourselves to embody and change our vibration to align with this much bigger version of ourselves. So this thing of you working towards, right? It's like you're just in the midst of changing your frequency, and it kind of, it's like, I'm kind of thinking of what the last reading said, but it's like your prayer answered is your responsibility to trust that the prayer is answered. So that means in trusting that your prayer is answered, you are inadvertently answering your prayer. Okay, so like trusting the prayer is answered, knowing that your prayer is answered, acting as if your prayer is answered, aligns you with the ability to then see the prayer answered. So like you, and as much as like, yes, like life, creation, God, source, infinite, great mystery is like here helping, but you're helping you. And that's the most empowering thing, is like you have to align with that and then see, because where is Falcon's focus? Like, we have binoculars. Where is the dead end? When's the last time you used friggin' binoculars? Like, if you use binoculars, it like really zones in on, I'm actually like looking out my window. This tree outside of my house, I think it's called like Heaven's Tree or something, which is maybe another discussion. But this focus, it's like you zoom in and you focus on that thing that is like, because whatever you're putting your attention on, it's expanding. Whatever you're putting your attention on, it's expanding. Whatever you're putting your attention on, it's expanding. What are you putting your attention on? Okay, enough said. Okay, the message from the aspect of, or the message from, let me word it like this. The message from the consciousness of the thing you're trying to manifest and or create. So again, that could be a circumstance, a feeling, money, a career, your next big freaking project, a love life, a super awesome love life, all of the above life. So the message from the consciousness of that is completely in alignment with what we just spoke about. It's in you. Okay, so we all know that the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz, or at least most of us know, was trying to get to Wizard of Oz to get the badge of honor of courage, because more than anything, he wanted courage. Yet the irony of that entire terrifying mission was that he was to get to the Wizard of Oz on the yellow brick road is that he had courage the entire time. So he had courage the entire time to get to this thing outside of himself that showed that he had courage, but in him demonstrating his courage, he eventually got the badge of honor of courage. So he had to align with the frequency of courage to then receive the thing that showed him he had courage. So, you're being asked, align with it. And also, you're being asked to understand that you're the freaking gift. Now, this card is the Sat Kriya card. If you're familiar with Kundalini, Sat Kriya is my favorite. Kriya is like a movement you can do. This one, it's like you can only its entirety you can do in just 3 minutes, and it basically takes all this stored, stuck sexual energy and starts bringing it up. All right, so you become more magnetic, you become more radiant, you become, it pushes out your magnetic field, your aura, you become more expansive. And it is crazy how every time I go on these little trips of trying to do it for 19 or 30 days or whatever, the power it has in its ability to amp my magnetism up is crazy. So if you're interested in learning this, put Sat Kriya, just write it down below, and I'll message you the link to, I teach it as well. So I'll message you the link, and it's something you can just do for 3 minutes a day. I would do it for 19 days in a row though, because if it's just way more impactful. Sat Kriya, SATKRI or YIA. I always spell it wrong. And then the answer is in the block. I knew this card was going to come up, and I have kind of disliked this card, and I found a new meaning in it. I was like, this card is totally going to pop out in one of y'all's readings. And in my head, I was like, because this card means there's actually no block. You're creating the idea, the illusion of the block. And I was like, well, how does that picture show that? And then I looked at it. Look at her. She's in the border, pushing against this border. But then there's something really expansive happening down here. And up here, that has no limitations or borders. So she let herself perceive a border that she is now fighting. But there is another choice where she could be in this flow and in this alignment where there's no freaking borders. So the message from the aspect of you, the message from your creation is like, oh my God, don't limit yourself. There are no blocks. Like, you are everything. If there's a block, first of all, let's just talk about how when a block comes or a problem comes is the same exact freaking moment when the answer and solution comes. It's just you being open to connecting to that. So, but you're being asked to understand that the only thing that's resisting, or the only thing that is the block, is your interpretation or illusioning of the fact that there's some kind of a block. There's something limiting you, or there's something stopping you, or whatever. That's your story. But in this, back to like, it's in you, like you're the gift. You have to come back to the fact that the thing you're trying to manifest outside of yourself first has to be reflected on the inside. See, she aligned her tuning fork with the energy of like diamond freaking power. Again, South Korea, put it below because this is what that does. It aligns you with diamond power energy. It's like radiating, sparkly, getting people to ask you out kind of vibe. So she took her energy, any stuck energy down here, and she started filtering it and exploding it out, okay? But then we see, so you got diamond and you got emerald. So this is about emerald. Always, when emerald comes up, it's not just about love. There is, I love that, especially if you're looking for love. It's about letting it happen how it happens and not trying to control how it happens, because the reason the Colombian emerald is the greenest and got gifted to be the greenest of all is because when the Andes Mountains were being formulated hundreds of thousands of years ago, there would be these like blasts of like air and water coming up through the earth and like had all the mineral deposits, and they would just like shoot out and disperse into air once they went through the earth. But then some of them would get blocked. Remember, back to the block. The answer is in the block. There is no block, but sometimes it feels like there's a block. And so this shooting surge of like water, if I first said air, I meant like water with lots of minerals in it, coming through the earth would hit this black slate. And it would change the trajectory of that water to then go into this pool underground of water. And all the minerals that were in that water created the greenest of all green emeralds in the entire freaking earth. So that also asks you, like, knowing that all the things happening are actually supposed to be happening to get you to where your heart's deepest desire is, even if it feels like you're hitting a wall. Okay, the next is the part of you who is not worried, the part of you who is worried and not fully trusting. Well, one is like, you're being asked to understand there's some kind of, we see fire. There's some kind of transformation happening and you're emerging. And this card came out in the last reading too. So like, we see the ruby. You guys got a lot of cool gems. The ruby is the gem of, or in Sanskrit is the king of all gemstones. So this talks about, there's this, you know, the part of you who is here is like, get out of my face. Like, they're asking you to claim your self-authority, your self-leadership. They're asking you to be the king of your dominion, of your experience. They're asking you to know that you are your own demigod, creating your own reality. They're asking you to understand that, like, every time you go to hell, you jump into even a higher aspect of paradise. You're being asked to emerge out of any self-doubt and know that also what's coming for you is a level of self-confidence that you haven't necessarily embodied yet on your path, which is super freaking cool. And when you are feeling the worry or the not trusting, that you need to get out of your head by focusing on serving someone else. Like, it just is medicine. Like, besides it being service, which is what we're all created to do, we're all created to serve each other. It's reciprocity. It's reciprocity and cooperation. Like, we're cooperatively sharing and giving and receiving and giving and receiving. I mean, that's the way how all nature works, but humans like to resist that. But this thing of just like, you know, and what if your service could be your art, like, so like focus on something else that is some kind of service to snap you out of your like self-limiting, I'm gonna say it's stupid beliefs, because they are, because anything that makes you feel less than, it's not real. Okay, the aspect of you who has fully freaking blossomed into this next level of yourself. So we have rise above and we have metamorphosis. So rise above, what do we see? We see sapphires. So let's talk about sapphire. Sapphire is known as the stone of transformation because I think I got this right. The color is like a chemical molecular structure, as opposed to, I don't know the other structures of how color works and color waves, but like basically the deal is there's no color until light hits it. And it feels like, isn't that how it works for everything? But when I was studying this, it made it seem like it's a specific kind of thing. So regardless of my ignorance or not, what is going on is that when light hits sapphire, the color inside and the waves start dancing around to create its color and its brilliance. So that is one message. Again, this is the message from the aspect of you who's fully blossomed, is that saying that, so light, what is light? It's like positivity. It's saying that you shine brightest when you're aligning with something that's uplifting and positive, around positive people, around positive intentions for yourself, around you being positive towards you. So like, you're being asked to like always choose the higher thought, always choose the more uplifting feeling, and like, because it's all a freaking vibration, right? Like, where's your tuning fork? Is it like in the dense, gross, like slow dinosaur dark time, or is it the quick, rapid, like light? So this is saying, and that is about that rise above. Like, come on, like, you are leveling up. Like, rise the freak above those thoughts. Yep, you're gonna get hijacked 8 billion times a day. And then the next day, it's 7 million whatever minus 1 times a day. Like, minus 1 from 8 billion, which I don't know what that even sounds like. 900,900,999, whatever. Like, it's like, each day is one level freaking up, like, to constantly keep bringing yourself back on, focusing on the higher thought, focusing on the higher intention, focusing on the prayer being answered, that you are the prayer answered, that it's in you, that there is no freaking block, that you are the freaking gift, that you are emerging into some kind of amazing confidence to get out of your own way and go serve someone else. So to constantly come back to like trying to focus on the higher thought. Also, it talks about like you're finally gonna fly. You're finally gonna fly. You're finally gonna fly. You're finally gonna fly. Like finally. And I'm saying that with such like, because it's been a long time. You know, I think a lot of you have gone through your metamorphosis. You've taken you came out of the cocoon, you've done the recalibrating, pumped the blood through your wings, But now you still kind of are hanging out on the stick. Like you already have the wings. Like you didn't know. Like, why does it still kind of feel like, why am I here? It's because you're not realizing that you have already morphed into one of the greatest aspects of yourself, but it's about you owning that. So just to get, whoa. I mean, this came face up, just trust. And I love it. It's blossoming. You're in the midst of blossoming. Mole can barely hear, see, smell. He just gets through by feeling vibrations. There's something about blind faith right now, just like knowing that it's going to happen. And that your light is what you project out and you attract through your glow, because firefly males are glowing and lighting up to attract their mate. So you have to project out through your thoughts the vision of the thing that you're hoping for, and then that thing will be attracted to you. And then one more from the body talk. Transmute and triumph. So there's this powerful freaking ability, like you've been able to take that like hellfire and turn it into light, and your boundaries is your sword, and your boundaries is also asking for what you want. So like one hand is like, come on down where the price is right, and the other is like, but I got my sword, so don't F with me. And that you took your hellfire and turned it into shining and radiating freaking rainbow light. So this is all through your intention, because this right here, my friends, is the master freaking alchemist. They have balanced the yin and yang. They know duality. They know that their hellfire is what they can transmute into the greatest light. They know that their darkness is what makes them shine so brightly. They know that their focus is what's creating reality. Like, you know, and not to say to ignore the atrocities of reality and to not care and just be self-centered about your own happiness, but like there is something to be said. Like where your focus, you are energizing whatever you focus on. You are creating that, you are amplifying it. So if we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people with an intention and a focus about EMFs and everything, or in everything, plastic and everything, EMFs everywhere, this is that, it's all creating cancer, this is that, blah, like war, you know, we're actually energizing all that sick stuff. So again, it doesn't mean we ignore those things and that we don't try to like help and do what we can to heal those things and to help those people and to, you know, make technology that is awesome for Mother Earth. But it does mean that, one, there's a solution in every problem. So there is some kind of like, that's one. Two, that you're energizing things that are maybe really messed up by your fixation on it being horrific, right? It doesn't mean you can't focus on it and like, you know, maybe your focus is like, I'm going to say healing prayers for all those people in war right now. Like, because clearly, like, what else am I going to do? Like, you know, get really angry and throw hate at the opposing side. Like, you know, it's like I don't know how many more times I have to say it, but you're a freaking master alchemist, and whatever you freaking focus on, you're amplifying it. So like, choose, if you're going to focus on something negative, choose to freaking focus on solving a problem, on healing a thing, as opposed to just like, this is horrible. Because you're amplifying that. Like, you know, you're creating, we're all co-collaboratively creating, but like, you're an alchemist, and like, your intention and focus, and I think because you're so powerful, it's like, I think it amplifies it quicker. I mean, that's just my theory, so don't hold me to it, but like, I think you are really powerful. I think you're, you know, tuning into this like power that you have, this greatness that you are, and that is a heavy weight, because it means your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions will have more immediate response, that there will be a reverberation, like a vibration that hits you a little bit stronger. It means that, like, you know, your focus on something, and here's the thing, like, it's not about getting, because I do this all the time, like, upset at myself then for like thinking a scary negative thing, and now you can immediately change that by having a new conversation about thinking about that negative thing and believing that negative story. It's just like, change it, just change it, because you can immediately change it that quickly. Like, I'm either going to focus on something else, or I'm going to have some compassion for that part of me who is feeling really scared, and then I'm going to, you know, honor that just means that we don't want to feel that way, and like, whatever you're going to tell yourself, you know better than me. So anyways, I love you. Again, the Self-Worth Explosion Workshop will be dynamic and really intense and cool. So link below, the promo code is Explosion. And I love you, and definitely like, subscribe, comment, and I love you. World peace for freaking ever.